And welcome to a very special episode of Jofo in the Ring. You know it is a special episode when I'm here hosting it for you, Jeremy Prophet. But today is not about me. Today is about someone who is a tremendous, one-of-a-kind talent, a recording artist, a visionary, someone who is very near and dear to my own heart with the wonderful music that he creates that is so synonymous with what I do on a weekly basis. And I feel so privileged, so fortunate to get to share this time with him and present him to you. I present to you right now, the one, the only, Marty Ray.
Wow, that was a great intro. I feel like I'm going to enter the ring myself right now. I like that.
Well, you know, I just want to make sure that you know that when I do those intros, it comes from the heart. I've been wanting this interview for a long time. Your music is absolutely fantastic. It has helped to elevate my own career to another level, being able to enter to the powerful vocals and the accompanying instrumentals that just encompass everything that I represent. It's like when we wrestle, it's like modern day gladiator fights. And when that music plays, it just gets you in the zone, gets you in the right headspace to be able to go out there and entertain to your fullest. And you have created such a wonderful piece of music. Everywhere I go, people compliment me on the song, on Haunted, on wanting to know, where is this from? Who is the artist? Where did you find such a great piece of music? And that came from you. And I'm so happy to be able to share the story with everyone of your journey and the creation of that wonderful, timeless piece of music.
Wow. Yeah. First of all, I'm honored that you would use that song. It means a lot to me. All my songs do, but, those were, when I did the Mixed Emotions album, it was kind of it was written in a way to lend itself to be used as for TV commercials, fight songs and such. So that it's perfect that you're using it. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm glad people ask about it too. That means that it must be piquing some ears.
Yeah. Just everywhere I go, almost every show. And I do a show just about every weekend, all over here in Canada, coast to coast. I go all the way out to the West Coast, to the Atlantic coast, and everywhere in between. And every time that I'll go out and see the fans afterwards at the merch table, they'll all say, "Man, what is that song?" It's just the chorus is stuck in my head. The guitar, the riffs, it's just I can't get it out of my head. There'll even be people who will say, you know, I heard it on that show, and then a few days later, it's just stuck in my head, and it's there. And what is that? And I've directed so many people towards you, towards your page. So many people know of it here, and it's just something that I look back on, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad I found it. And I kid you not, until my career ends, I will always use that song. I will not stray from it. There is no better piece of music to play as I go out to perform for the fans, myself and my partners, because there's actually three of us. We're called the Black Quebecois, and it's kind of become our anthem. It's like our national anthem. It's
wow.
It's like what you guys consider like not quite the national anthem, but like God Bless America. It's like the God Bless America to our cause here as the Black Quebecois.
Wow. Okay. That's high honors, high praise. Where are you out of?
I'm born and raised in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So geographically, we're just north of New York State. Borders about an hour south from here, and lived my whole life here, and basically been professional wrestling for 20 years. This is, entered my 20th year as of this past July. By the grace of God, managed to be injury free and been able to perform in many different places, many different countries, and always working my way to the top, still in the prime of my life and working on securing that big contract with one of the major companies, be it, WWE or All Elite Wrestling, any of the top companies out there. And the entrance music is just so important in professional wrestling, much like in combat sports, much like in any kind of professional sports, that you need to find that song that's just synonymous with you, that right from the opening, people know, hey, that's this guy, that's this person coming to the ring. And I feel this whole interview is probably just going to be a lot of thank yous over and over, but thank you for creating that. And thank you for, giving me your blessing to be able to go out there and enter to that in front of people all over this fine country.
Well, I sure hope that the WWE or somebody like that calls you soon. And it's funny you said Montreal. I'm supposed to be coming to Montreal to do a show at some point. I got a guy that's trying to place a festival, and he said that he would send me a date soon. So I'll have to let y'all know if y'all are in Montreal. But I'm also glad to hear you say by the grace of God, because I heard that that they don't like Jesus up there. So, and I said, well, because they actually, when they tried to get me to do this show, they said, well, we know you're a Christian, so we don't want, make sure that you don't, talk about Jesus or anything like that. I said, well, I tell you, I'm not going to do a show. There's never a show I do. I don't mention God or Jesus or something like that. So if you want someone to do to just be silent entirely, then I might not be your guy. But they said they still wanted me, so we'll see if it happens.
That's right. Well, when it comes down to it, I mean, look, my stage name is Jeremy Prophet, but I am a God-fearing man myself, been my entire life, washed in the blood of Christ. And when it comes down to it, there's no better way to be. And so hearing that from you, believe me, that brings a lot of good, a lot of warmth to my heart and soul as well. And that's something that, sometimes things are just meant to be. God works in mysterious ways. And the fact that he's brought both of us here to break bread and to converse and to be able to share this with the many viewers wherever they might be in the world, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Boy, I sure hope so. That's my main mission in life, is to be a light for Jesus any way that I can. It's actually a fight song about the life that we were taught that we needed and wanted, but we actually are fighting for a different cause. Like you said, actually, I don't know what y'all's cause is, but that song was actually a fight song against. It was kind of a revealing song against the secret entities that try to brainwash us. So that's where the whole thought. That's where that idea of that came from. So you're using it for the right reasons, I feel.
Absolutely. Now, when did you first get involved in music? Was it always a part of your life, or was it something that you discovered maybe at a later age?
Well, I always say I came out of the womb singing, so I was always able to sing, but it wasn't something that was nurtured or cultured as I grew up. My family was we're from a small town, so we weren't taught. Nobody really taught you to dream beyond your city limits type deal. So it wasn't that you were discouraged, but you weren't encouraged either to go after a talent or a gift like music or musicianship or something like that, unless you were doing it in the church. And I didn't. I always wanted to, but I never was asked to sing in church or anything like that. But I had my family; they all did that. So really and truly, I didn't have any type of, dream to be a singer, because mainly I would just mimic other artists that I would hear, and I was pretty good at mimicking them, but I didn't have my own voice. And it was about 2005 that I got an Apple MacBook, and on that Apple there was GarageBand, and when I clicked on GarageBand, I figured out that you could record yourself. And when I started recording myself, I said, hey, you know what, you can do this. People can do this themselves. This is crazy. It doesn't cost thousands of dollars to do this. So I started recording some stuff, and it was just through the computer microphone. And then one day I told my cousin who sings in church, I said, let's go to the church. It was actually a Christmas. We were just jamming, you know, as a family, really. And I said, let's go to the church and record some songs so I can mess around and play around with this software. And so we were trying to record several songs with him and my uncle, and we didn't get it done. My uncle had to leave, and I told my cousin, I said, pick a song out of the hymn book and just play it, whatever it is. And I'll go in there and sing it. I'll go in the vocal booth and sing it. And the vocal booth was just the pastor's office that was to the right of the stage. We had a wire ran in it. So I went in there, and he was playing Great Speckled Bird, and I had never heard Great Speckled Bird. I had never heard anybody sing it. So I didn't have a reference to go off of to copy anyone. So that was the day when he started playing it. I was just, what a beautiful thought I've been thinking concerning a great speckled bird. And then I knew at that moment that God just showed me my voice. And it was as if Jesus said, that's your voice, not someone else's. And what are you going to do with it? And that was the day that I decided, okay, I'm going to start making some videos. And that's how it happened. That's how I got into music.
Yeah. And when you started making those videos, you started putting them online, and people obviously then started taking notice. And was it quick, or was it something that maybe, it took a little while?
Well, I immediately took that. We recorded that, and I took that and made a video and posted it online. It got I think I posted online, and it got maybe 10, anywhere. I can't remember the exact number, but anywhere from 10 to 20 something thousand views. And at the time I thought, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty amazing. I'm famous now, is what I thought back then. And so then I said, I'm going to keep making these. I made a few more. They didn't do as well. So I thought, well, I get the V. And then I just said, you know what, Lord, if this is what you want me to do with my life, then I'm going to put forth a little bit of effort, and you honor that effort. And then if you honor the effort, and as long as you honor the effort, then I'll continue to do it. So I just kept making videos, and I ended up making a parody video, which was something I love. I love to make people laugh. So, and I've always loved parody songs. So I did a parody of a song called All About That Bass, and I did All About That Beard. And I said, I'm going to learn how to make an actual video. I'm going to use this as a way to, didn't think anybody would care about the video or do anything with the video, but I said, I'm going to learn from it. So I went and rented a camera for the first time ever, rented a lens, and did all these things, and was just trying to learn, kind of like I was with the Great Speckled Bird. So I filmed the video, edited the video, and it looks like crap, really, to still to this day. But I posted the video, and it got 2 million views in a day. And I said, wow, this is wild right here. Now this is really something. So then everybody, I got Lad Bible reaching out to me from England, and they're wanting to interview me. And so they did. And there's just all this attention's coming. So then I said, oh, well, now I really got to be consistent here. So I was posting videos consistently. And then, but I was still running a towing service, my dad's towing service in Memphis at the time. So it was just doing videos in between that. And then, there was followers, they kept coming. It was kind of like this at first. It was just going up. And I said, well, someday maybe I'll be able to just do this for a living, because I had some revenue streams coming. I hadn't, I don't think I had released I had released one album, but nobody was really buying that one. So I hadn't released the second album. I had released an EP, and that was before I had any fans really at all. But I had like a 4-song EP. But after that 2 million view video, I decided I would be consistent. But then there was about a 2-week gap there where I stopped. I didn't have time to do it, or was unmotivated, whatever the case might be, because they weren't all getting 2 million and million views. So once you get 2 million views, you think everything should be that, when it doesn't. That's not what happens. So because there was a gap there, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was messing around with my acoustic guitar, and I was playing 2 songs. I played 2 rap songs, actually. I played one was Nothing But a G Thing. It was like 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door. Did that one. And then, of course, I did the other one was Vanilla Ice. So I ended up releasing Ice Ice Baby that night, and I said in the caption, I said, if anybody has been waiting, here's a video, but I apologize for being inconsistent with my posting. If you don't like this, I'm sure it's different, it's weird, it's not this is old song. So if you don't like this, just wait till next week and I'll post another one. It turns out everybody seemed to like it. Bam Margera posted it. There was tons of World Star Hip Hop posted it on their website. There was just tons of attention on that. I mean, that thing has probably 200 plus million views now to this day, even more than that, maybe, accumulatively across all platforms and all the posts, because people were just taking the video and posting it and such like that. So, but it got me a lot of attention. It actually created a friendship between me and Vanilla Ice, and it was an amazing time right then. It was about 2 months actually after that. During that song, that Ice Ice Baby cover, that people were messaging me and saying, "Hey, I'm best. Rob. I didn't know his name at the time, but they said Vanilla Ice is my friend." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Give me your number and I'll give it to him, and maybe y'all can sing together." I said, "What I got to lose? Maybe I can get a toe out of the deal at least." So I give all these people my phone number, and then about 2 months later, I get a phone call, and I just answer it like any other phone call to a business. And I said, "Glenn Ray's Towing, how can I help you?" And it's this voice, it just, "Hey, Marty Ray, what's up?" I said, "Hey, how you doing? How can I help you?" And then he said, "Oh, I love that acoustic baby, man. That was nice." And I said, "I appreciate that. Thank you. How can I help you?" And he goes, "It's Rob, man." I said, "Well, how you doing, Rob? How can I help you?" And he goes, "It's Vanilla Ice." And I said, "Okay, sure it is." And next thing I know, he asked me to come play with him at the first ever I Love the 90s tour that they did. It was divine, really, because they had just started this I Love the 90s tour, and he told me to come to Miami and play the very first one. And I said, "Well, I'll believe it when I get the email." And I got the email, and I went to Miami, and I went from I played one show before that. I played a show for 100 people in my hometown, went from there to playing for 40,000 people in Boca Raton. So God honors the effort. If you put forth the effort, he'll honor it.
That is truly amazing. And I love the fact that you are a self-made success story. You went and you hustled and put in the effort and did that on your own without, having huge backing and huge resources. You went out, you found the software, put it together, did the vocals. That's something to really be proud of.
Well, self-made is a weird word for me, because I still had a lot of help, even though, like I said, I didn't know how to record anything. So I had to ask my cousin how to record properly. And then I had to get his help. Then I didn't play an instrument for a long time. So I was a musician. So there was a lot of help there, but I get what you're saying about self-made. I went after it, and I actually have never had a record label, never had a record deal, still don't. And, don't necessarily want one, but sometimes you could use the help. Like now, I could really use some help, but there's some certain decisions you got to make when you sign a record deal that I just ain't really willing to make.
Yeah. So to clarify, you've never had a record label behind you. You've never had everything that you've done. You've written. You've produced. That's you. That's from your brain, pen to paper.
That's anything that's on my albums. Yeah, it's all from me. I think there might be a couple of co-writes on there, but even in those, it's still me and someone else. Besides, there's one song that I released, Ice Ice Baby, because Vanilla Ice and I were supposed to collaborate on that. We're supposed to stop and collaborate and listen on that legitimately, and he was so busy, because he's always busy, and I wanted to release the album, so I told him I'm just going to release it as it is, and I'll do the little rap part. And he goes, "Okay." So that's why that one's on there. But the only thing I'll ever release, I say ever, I mean, who knows? But the only thing I plan to ever release through an album format, like Spotify and such, is my own original music that I write.
Okay. No, that's good to hear. And in my own personal journey to discovering your music with Haunted and then using it, I discovered it actually through Derrick Lewis having used it as a walkout song in the UFC. And
Wow. Okay.
I heard it when he came out for his fight with Daniel Cormier, his heavyweight title fight. And just from hearing it with that walkout, I said, this is the kind of song that I want. I want to come out for this. And, I'm a huge UFC fan. I get the impression you're probably a bit of a UFC fan too. I did my research. I saw that you've done some podcasts with some other fighters like Beneil Dariush. But yeah, I'm a huge UFC fan, and I had heard Derrick Lewis use that on the pay-per-view. Did Derrick speak to you about that, or did he just discover it and say, hey, I'm gonna use that song? How did that come about?
Did you were you at that event?
Well, I watched it on pay-per-view.
If you go back and watch, you'll see where I'm sitting at that event. I'm sitting in Derrick Lewis's family seats, and he comes up and gives me a hug right before he goes into the cage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know he was going to use my song. He invited me there, and I had no clue. We had already formed a kind of a friendship. It's not like even today, we don't really talk, every day or nothing like that, but every now and then we'll talk through Instagram and something like that. But he really loves that song and other song. A lot of songs from that album, actually, he loves them. And he never told me he was going to use it, but
wow.
He gave me his family seats. His family wasn't there, so me and my cousin, we went to New York and sat in his seats. It was pretty crazy. It was insane. We were sitting there with other fighters. There was a lot of fighters there, and we were sitting there with all them. It's not seats that you can purchase, I don't think. So he comes out, yeah. And when he comes out, I hear the song come on, and I'm telling the security guard, "Hey, that's my song right there." He's playing. He goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." That's pretty crazy. And he comes right up to me, and he gives me a little, daps me up and gives me a hug. And I'm thinking, wow, this is crazy. This is one of the guys. I really hope he wins. I wish he would have won. That would have made it even better, because I would have went backstage and took a picture with the belt. It would have been an amazing time. And maybe he would have used the song forever. I don't know. But unfortunately, he lost.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing how one thing leads to another, because him using that song allowed me to discover that song, to discover you, to have us be here today, and for me to then use that song. And I've been using it, easily since 2021, regularly. Like I said, that will be my entrance music until I decide to call it a career and hang it up. And I love the fact that I can create exposure and have people hear that and direct them back to you, and we can grow together, wherever our careers may take us. That, who knows, maybe 5-10 years from now, we can be looking back at this, making our living doing the things we love, wrestling and making music. And I think it's just great how you think about it. We live on such a big world, but the world is really small when you think about it, how two lives can connect and help to send each other into the right direction. I love that. And it's surreal to me that I get the chance to speak to the artist that made such a beautiful piece of music.
Well, I'll tell you what, as long as you're wrestling, and as long as you got this show, as we both progress, or as you progress, and we'll report back at some point and touch base again and see, or even online. Even through our phones, whatever it is. I'm gonna try to keep up with you and watch your journey, because I'm excited for what. How old are you?
I'm 38 years old.
38. Well, you got plenty of time. I don't know what's old for a wrestler, to be honest with you, but I know
as long as you're not injured, you're good.
Have you been badly injured?
Never.
Before?
Never.
Thank God. Thank God. Do you know Braun Strowman?
I know Braun Strowman. Yes, absolutely.
He's a fan of my music as well. He and I we did he came to Nashville and he did we just really just he really just met me at the studio and we were just fooling around, but I did end up releasing a song with him. We did believe it or not, we did Hakuna Matata.
Wow.
And he and I and my buddy CJ, we sang that for a video. It didn't really do very well as far as views, but it's out there if anybody wants to see me and Braun Strowman sang Hakuna.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to track that down and direct people towards it. I know that I'll be checking that out probably sometime later tonight because, big fan of Braun Strowman, the monster among men, the monster of all monsters. Good old North Carolina boy, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's from North Carolina. And yeah, great wrestler.
So,
yeah, great wrestler. Doing great stuff with the WWE. And it's one of those things that amazes me how music can bring people together. How people who don't know each other can hear the same tune and be able to feel something spiritually from it. It's a powerful thing, and it's definitely in good hands with what you do. I'm curious to know, one of the last questions I'll ask you, what are your future musical ambitions? What do you hope to accomplish with the music that you make?
Well, the main thing, like I said earlier in this podcast, was to be able to be a light for Jesus in any way. When people tell me that my music has kept them alive or has healed them or helped them or anything like that, that's the greatest gift, the greatest compliment you can get. Even if it's just one person, you did enough. You know, if music stopped today and I have one person that I kept alive, that God kept alive because of a gift that I have, then it was all worth it in that regard. Now, as far as my own personal goals in music, the main thing that I want to do, and I want to see, I'd like for the Lord to allow me to get to the place to where I can write songs and release them, and they're used for, like I said, TV, film, commercials, wrestlers, and things like that. That's really my main drive and main goal in music. And also now, I own a beard product company called Beardalizer,
okay,
which I was sponsored by years ago. I own that now. So I also we're fixing to start making beard music videos again. So it'll be very cool. I want all those to do well. I want to be able to do that forever. It'd be nice to have a team to where we could do that and I could just focus on creating and not selling, but who knows where I get wherever Jesus leads me.
Yeah. Well, it might be a case of good timing. I know you mentioned wrestlers using music. There's a lot of rumblings within the WWE that they might be moving away from their current in-house music producers, a group by the name of Def Rebel. Seems like they won't be renewing them. So who knows? There might be a spot at the top for someone who can create all different styles of music for the performers that you see on WWE week in, week out. Who knows? Maybe you might want to hit up Braun and say, hey, I'd love to offer my services. How do we run that up the chain of command to make things happen? Because, hey, you need look no further than Jeremy Prophet. That song, I tell you, I get compliments everywhere I go. Not a show goes by where people don't say, man, what is that entrance music? I got to have that. I gotta be hearing that when I'm working out at the gym. I got to be, listen to that at night if I'm feeling down to pick me up. These are legitimate things that people tell me. And, I direct them all towards you. And hopefully when you come to town, when you come to Montreal, we'll get the chance to meet up and we'll get the chance to introduce you to many more people that could benefit from the type of music that you're putting out and can help them in their minds and in their souls.
Yeah, that sounds great. If we could just sell, get y'all's help selling some tickets up there, that'd be great too. I don't know what the situation is going to be, but as soon as I know, I will definitely send a text out or something.
Yep.
And I need to, if you hear about how to reach somebody who is going to be selecting or whatever they do, however they work that out with the music, I would definitely be trying to contact them if I knew who it was. But I think I will send a text to Adam and see if he knows.
That'd be a good place to start. But also, we make a lot of noise here on the internet. We always try to get our clips shared all across different social media platforms. So I'm looking at a guy right here across the room from me, one of my producers, who is always on top of that. Very good at making nice little short clips where we just pretty much make the message nice and clear that, hey, WWE, if you're looking for a guy, he's already got pretty much the top song on the independent wrestling scene. So why not give him a shot?
Why not?
Yep. We will make that happen. Now, in terms of your own social media, I'd like for you to let the people know where they can find you, where they can follow you, what are your preferred platforms, and for myself as well, because I've enjoyed this conversation, and I'd love to continue this fine rapport that we have going on here.
I'm any social media. I'm at Marty Ray Project everywhere, wherever it is, YouTube, TikTok, I don't know, Clapper, whatever. I'm at the craziest places. If there's a new app, I ended up on it, and it's always at Marty Ray Project. So wherever you're at, I'm there.
Okay, perfect. I'll tell you what, I'm going to find you. I'm going to keep in touch with you. I'm going to keep on using the song. I know some places they're kind of iffy on with the internet. I don't know how that stuff works, but they say, oh, well, there's copyrights and those kinds of things. So for that song, it's good to know that I have your blessing to use it. And I'm glad that it actually brought us here together to be able to converse. Not only have I met a great artist today, but I've met a great human being. And that means so much more. And I hope that we'll get to do this again, because I've enjoyed every minute of this conversation, and I hope our fans have too.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I appreciate you. God bless you.
Yeah. And hopefully we can do it again soon. With that said, you guys can find us on social media everywhere. You can go to Jofo in the Ring on YouTube, like, subscribe. Find us at Jofo in the Ring on Twitter, on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeremy Prophet. That's JeremyProphet. You can find me on Instagram at The Real Jeremy Prophet. And as always, right here on Jofo in the Ring, where even though we didn't talk too much about it today, we always like to say that wrestling is life.
So, Jofo, I'm a gargle a shot for Kurt Hennig, everybody, before we go.
Oh, no.
Jofo, thank you guys.